In this video, we are going to go over the calendar system that helps business owners get stuff done. And I'm also going to share how I use it in a very practical way. So with that said, let's dive in. I am going to share my screen here. Okay, here it is. There we go. Yeah. So if you're new here, my name is Jared and I'm a high school teacher turned leadership coach. Over the last 9 years, I've essentially worked with a variety of leaders at different organizational levels, helping them become more effective, not only in their own personal productivity, but also with their teams as well. And then over the last 5 years, I have worked with small business owners, helping them be more effective as well, not only with themselves, right, as individual contributors, but also as team leaders and organizational leaders. So with that said, let's see here. So in today's video, we're going to go over 4 things. What is the tool, how it helps me, how it can help you, and how you can apply it. And again, we're talking all about the calendar system. So the tool in a nutshell is called, let me pull up my notes right over here, time blocking. It's essentially where you block chunks of time based on the priorities that are pre-existing, but you actually need to put it on your calendar. The idea is that you're designing your calendar rhythmically and not reactively. So you're in charge of the time you spend doing things. And the reason why this is really helpful is because as a small business owner or as a business owner or even as a leader of a team, you have so many things coming your way and there are so many ideas, opportunities, good things, bad things, fires to solve. Everything is coming in your way and getting in the way of the priorities that you know are there. And so sometimes you do have to let go of priorities in order to solve critical things. But if you constantly do that over and over again, where you're letting go of priorities, then you're not going to make a lot of traction and movement on your actual priorities. So what this system is doing, what this tool is doing, is it's giving you the space to actually prioritize the things that matter in your calendar system. So with that said, in a nutshell, it prevents leaders from being hijacked by random meetings and minor tasks. It allows leaders, business owners to focus on high leverage work while creating margin for rest and reflection. And this is huge because sometimes when all you're doing is firefighting over and over and just solving the next issue, you're not giving yourself space to rejuvenate, to reflect, to improve, not just to work in your business, but to work on your business. And that is something that this tool allows you to have, is creating the space to go bigger than just the moment or the fire and actually proactively solve and dream and create and execute. For me, I'll just be really practical. It helped me get through graduate school when I was really busy. I started like a first version of this back in high school when I was taking a ton of really hard classes and I just had an insane schedule. I then overfloated at some point when I was in getting my bachelor's degree and I was working 2 part-time jobs and going to school full-time. That was really rough. And then I kept using this system over and over again. I think the pinnacle of this system for me was when I was going to graduate school full time. I had a newborn baby at home, literally newborn, a few months old. And I had a 2-year-old and I was working full time and I was working extra. It was just an insane season. And I used this tool, this calendar system, to help me prioritize. Over the years, that was many years ago. This was before I became a coach. But then as I became a coach, as I started leading others, I started implementing this in order to create some structure to my week, but at the same time, get my priorities done. It gave me the flexibility to actually say yes to opportunities and say no to other ones as well. So with that said, I want to dive right in here and I want to show you how to design this. Let me see here. Let me lower this. Okay, yep, we went over the tool, how it's helped me, how it can help you, and how you can apply it. So that is right over here. So with that said, okay, in a nutshell, I recommend you do this digitally. And what you're going to do is you're going to put all of your non-negotiable items together. Let me move this over to the side. So any pre-existing priorities that you have, you want to put into the calendar. It's critical to understand that this calendar system, this works for a season. It doesn't work forever, right? Because business changes, life changes, things happen. But for right now, whatever season you're in, it's important to define this. So I'll give you like a very practical example for me. For us on Sunday mornings, we usually have church right over here, and that's going to be a few hours here. There's includes all the prep time as well. Little tip for you, include the prep time as well, and kind of all the chit chat afterwards. So that's a good 3.5 hour chunk of time for us every Sunday. These are, for me, my non-negotiables. Usually on Friday night, somewhere around 5:30, there's some sort of date night. Right there. So there's all that for a few hours right over here. So you have that. So there's your church, there's your date night right over here. And then usually on Wednesday nights in this season right now is, again, same thing, usually some sort of family time done. So right here, there's that. So again, I have now pre-put in these priorities. Another example for me in this season, and again, every person is different, and this is also designed, the idea behind all this is for you to design this for the season you're in. And so let's say on Monday, let's say every Monday, you need to go to the gym, done. Oops, gym right here, done. So, you're going to repeat this right over here. And that's every Monday. You might have to get up a little bit extra early right here for 5:30 until, let's just say 7, drive time, all that included. The beautiful thing about having this on a computer calendar is, you can just easily Command C, so that'll copy it. And then you Command V, you paste it over, and there it is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays right over here. Notice what I'm doing right now is before I'm actually prioritizing all of my actual business tasks and my work-related tasks, what I'm doing is I'm putting the family non-negotiable times in here. And I think this is really important for you to understand in the midst of this is you need to put your non-negotiable, the things that have to be in there. Because oftentimes what'll happen is if you prioritize business above family for a season or above other priorities, non-business related priorities, what will end up happening is long-term, you're going to burn yourself out. So it's important that you build sustainable rhythms like date nights or whatever it is. And again, for me, it's Friday night. For you, it might be once every other week. But building a sustainable rhythm in order to prioritize the things that are important. So on a very practical note, once you kind of get some of these non-negotiables out of the way, very specifically with work, and again, I'm just being theoretical here, but I remember at one season, every Monday morning at 8, I had a pre-standing check-in meeting right here, done. And this was every single week I was checking in with our teams and getting stuff done. This actually happened a few times throughout the week, depending on the team's needs. So I remember at one point, again, there was a variety of meetings and it was like, all right, 8 to 9, we had to check in here, 10 to 11, we had to check in here, and 9 to 10, we had to check in here. These are already locked into my calendar. Now you as a business owner have the freedom to move these things around. It's critical that you understand it's important that as much as you want to adapt for your team, you need your team to adapt to your schedule because you are one to many, whereas they are many just to you. So the idea behind that is make it work for you. So for example, if for you, you're like, yeah, I just want to get my meetings done. They're always draining. I just want to get them done at this time and it's done. Get that done. So that way you can have this time, let's just pretend this Wednesday, fully blocked off. So once you start creating this, right, you might need to do some, again, theoretical sales check-in right in here. So you might want to do a sales check-in right over here. And again, I just said check-in meeting, but it might be an HR meeting right over here. At this meeting, it might be a little bit of production check-in, whoever's doing things that are moving the needle forward in your business. The idea behind this right over here is, and this is the key right here, take a look, you can repeat these every single week. And so if I were to move into next week, it already is there. And same idea for me in this case, if I were to click on here, I can make it a repeating event, on and on. And now it's there every Sunday, or this meeting is there every Monday. This is where the gold comes in, and this is what I've learned. A few things is you need buffer space, and this is huge, depending on your personality type. But it's important to give yourself a little bit of space between each meeting, at least 15 minutes right here of a breathing room. Now, that might not be ideal, but what it does is it allows you and your team to actually have a minute to breathe, collect your thoughts, right? Make sure you're good, transition, prepare whatever you need to do, use the restroom, get your water, whatever you need to do, and then you can keep going. So 1, create the buffer space. 2, in addition to that, let me confirm my notes over here. Schedule times for things that may not feel like a fire that you have to solve, but those tasks will rejuvenate you. For me, for example, one of the things that I always need is I need time to reflect on how things were in the past, like yesterday. How did that meeting go? How did that presentation go for me? I need that space to reflect. I call that thinking space. So literally every few minutes, every day, I will literally have some think space just for a little bit, and be something like 15 minutes or something like that. Sometimes, and there has been different seasons where I will have larger think space for a few hours, where I will not only reflect on what's going on, but I'll think about future plans and I'll start dreaming about what's coming up. That is for me. For you, it might be time to dream about the future of the business, right? This is space for you to think through. In this case, I'll put maybe think space or future thinking space, dreaming about what could be, or doing deep work that is refreshing to you. There might be other projects that in this season you need to put in here, like deep work on goal 1 of business goals, let's just say. And so what that means is that you're just blocking out some time in the calendar to get the deep work done. As you're going in, you're going to start filling this in. You might need to do this twice a week. You might actually need to leave space. Maybe for you, you're very extroverted and you love to go check in on your team, but also do some lunch meetings. So then you'll have a lunch meeting right over here, and you'll just throw that in right over here, having different lunch meetings. The point that I'm recommending for you is to actually schedule this and put it in your calendar, lunch meeting with others. Let me throw that in here. Let me see if there's any other pro tips I wrote on my notes for you guys. Yeah, okay. The priority for all this is schedule time, put in your calendar priorities and schedule it before the week starts. Once you have this and you kind of have a repeating version of this every week, you can look and you can easily say no. Like, so if someone came up with an opportunity to say, hey, I want to meet with you on Tuesday morning at 9, you have the ability to learn to say no. There has to be space for you to say, absolutely, I can meet with you. But according to my calendar, if I were to pull it up here, on Tuesday morning, I'm actually busy till 11. I have a pre-standing meeting, even if it's with yourself or with your team or whoever it is, to work on goal 1 of my business. These are non-negotiable items. There might be a system, and again, I'm a little bit of a nerd here, where I will color code and I'll change the color. I don't think it lets me change the color on this program right here, but I would change the color to like yellow, meaning like it's done, it's locked in, and I would put things that are absolutely non-negotiable yellow. But one of the things you'll end up finding as you're doing this is if you keep moving stuff around, and you may never get to that official space, but that's what actually happens in real life because other fires come in the way. So one of the things I recommend is try this out and stick to the ideal work week calendar. So in summary, this is a system I use to keep my life, my business, my work, everything organized and not default on my priorities. because I don't like winging it every single week. I don't like to think, oh, I'm perpetually behind. I want to know that I'm actually moving the needle forward. If you want to create more space and focus in your calendar, I recommend you giving time zoning a try, and let me know in the comments below how this works. If this video added any value, please hit the like button and feel free to get subscribed, because I am going to try to get a practical how-to video out every single week. And I'll see you guys on the next one.